Good morning. This Wednesday is November 11th. November 11th is an important day, not only in the United States, but also in countries around the world. Wednesday is the anniversary of the day, 102 years ago, when the fighting on the Western Front of World War I ended after 4 catastrophic years. The two sides in that conflict negotiated an armistice, or a ceasefire agreement, to take place on November 11th, 1918. At the prearranged time, 11 a.m., the most costly war in history up to that time came to a sudden stop. On the first anniversary of that armistice, Americans paused to honor the sacrifices of those who served in what people then called the Great War. This observance continued each fall, and on the 20th anniversary in 1938, Congress made Armistice Day a national holiday. After World War II, in 1954, President Eisenhower changed the name to Veterans Day. In doing so, the day was given an even higher purpose: to honor all U.S. veterans, no matter when they served, and to express our gratitude to their service. According to this year's census, there are 17.4 million veterans living in the U.S. today. They make up only about 5% of our population, and that number is shrinking. They are special. Who are these men and women? They are our neighbors, our co-workers, our bosses, our friends. They are our family. The people who have served our country in the military have made great sacrifices. They have given up many of their own personal freedoms. They could not come and go as they please. They could not do as they please. And they certainly could not speak as they please. These are people in our world. There are people in our world who do not understand our freedoms, who see no need for our freedoms, and who would prefer that we do not have them. Our veterans have sacrificed greatly so that we may keep and enjoy our rights. It's fitting and proper that we take time today to express how grateful we are for what they have done. Early in American history, our first Commander-in-Chief, George Washington, was very critical of how our government had treated the veterans of our first war, the Revolution, the very conflict that gave birth to our country. He warned the Congress by saying this: "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation." In short, Washington is telling us that what we are doing here today not only honors our veterans' past service and sacrifices, but also makes our country stronger for the future. Sadly, we have not always done a good job of heeding his words. We must do better. And we can do better if we remember what President Kennedy said one Veterans Day. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. On behalf of all of us at CHS High School and our community, please accept our heartfelt appreciation for all that you veterans have done for us and our nation. Thank you. And now we will hear from the CHS Symphonic Band playing the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you, Mrs. Kavanaugh and Ms. Nonaman and the CHS band. It has been our tradition to have an essay contest for our Veterans Day Assembly. This year, the freshman and sophomore class wrote about the importance of the American flag. The winner in that group was Allison Higgins. The junior and senior class wrote about the poem In Flanders Field. The winner in that group was Olivia Anderson. Now we will hear both Allison and Olivia's essays.
The importance of the flag and our pledge. The Pledge of Allegiance and our flag are both important parts of our culture in the United States. They stand for the rights and freedoms our country was founded on. They remember the people who gave of themselves to contribute to the success of this country. We always need to show respect for our flag while we say the pledge, because we must stand united as one. We are a strong nation, bonded together by blood and time. Our flag is a symbol for many things. It represents our country, many states that stand together under one government, ruled by the people themselves. It reminds us of the ideals laid out in the Declaration of Independence by our founding fathers, that all men are created equal. Our flag is a symbol that is a beacon of hope for opportunity. The story of our country has been told in the folds of the flag. We have grown from 13 small colonies into one of the most powerful nations on earth. We have seen bloodshed and peace. At times we have practically fallen apart at the seams, but instead of continuing on in ragged fashion, we repair ourselves and look towards a brighter future. Our Pledge of Allegiance is also an important symbol of our unity and respect. Our promise to this country brings us together and reminds us of the ultimate goal of the United States. This goal is to form a more perfect union. Though we do not always agree on what steps we can take to improve the country, we must have enough respect for each other to live as a cohesive society. We pledge to honor all mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters who have defended our nation in order to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility. We also honor the founders of a country that accepts all people of any nationality or creed. We pledge allegiance not only to our common values, but to each other, to protect our freedoms, those of our children, and our heroes who are willing to give of themselves for a country they truly love. The amount of disrespect for our pledge and flag has been growing in present years. Why do our citizens not understand the importance of honoring our flag and placing a hand on our heart for the pledge or national anthem? When we honor our symbols, we disregard all the sacrifices made by our veterans that allow us to exercise our unalienable rights. We throw away the values that America was founded on that have allowed us to stand for the rights of every human being. We must guard our rights in order for people of other countries that have been oppressed to have hope. As citizens of the United States, it is our duty to stand for those who cannot speak out for themselves. America has been famously described by Francis Scott Key as the land of the free and the home of the brave, and it is important to recognize what that truly means. The United States has become a world power, independent, ingenuitive, and fiercely loyal. We are a unified country harboring a variety of beliefs, principles, and cultures. This has been made possible by our veterans who fight for our freedoms and our wise founding fathers who had the foresight to allow our country to grow and flourish. We have taken an old hope of a free and democratic society and turned it into a reality. When I look to the flag before any sport or in my classroom at school, I am reminded of how blessed I am to be here, vowing to my country that I will uphold the ideals we were founded on. Thank you.
The American Dream. The American Dream is something that we all strive to live for. We all strive to live for that perfect way of living, but how did we get here? We didn't get here just because we were put onto this earth. How do all of us get to live this free, sometimes unproblematic life? It's because of our veterans and soldiers. Our vets and soldiers are the reason we get to live the way we do. American soldiers fight every day in war just to keep our country free. Our soldiers are our heroes, and our fallen soldiers are our heroes. The poem In Flanders Field talks about the soldiers who have passed while fighting in battle, what their graves look like after they've passed, and how they've passed on their torch, and how the next person who has it should hold it high with pride. As our fallen soldiers have passed, they have handed us a torch. As they handed us this torch, we carry on their legacy and their name. The torch that our soldiers carry our fight, our rights, our freedom, and our protection. The United States is a free country. Our country sets an example for the world to want to live free like us. Our warriors fight for our flag to be flown high every day. Some may see it as a piece of fabric, but others see it as pride, as a blessing, and something to be honored to have. We are honored to be able to stand up to that flag day after day and be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance. The stripes represent the original 13 colonies, and the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag represent meanings as well. Red represents the hardiness and valor, white represents purity and innocence, and blue represents diligence, perseverance, and justice. To protect our country is not an easy job. The United States has just around 328 billion people that live here and in these 50 states. It takes a hero to be one of those men that go into battle, and takes a lot of courage and strength, not to just serve, but to serve for yourself, your family, and your country. Flanders Field is the name of a World War I battlefield in the medieval country of Flanders. In this poem, in Flanders Fields, it says to the torch, "Be yours and hold it high." This means that as we move on with our fallen soldiers' legacy, they would like for us to keep it and hold it high with pride. In the poem, it states that we are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, we felt the dawn, the sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. As the families of the fallen soldiers have laid them to rest, you can only imagine how incredibly proud they were of them. The poem also says that if you break faith with who died, we shall not sleep with the poppy. Oh my goodness. Do the poppies grow in Flanders Fields? They say poppies grow because poppies symbolize the remembrance that lies in the landscapes of the First World War. As a remembrance of the fallen soldiers and our veterans, every year on November 11th at your local grocery store, they hand out red poppies in remembrance of the fallen soldiers and our veterans. The poem also states that in Flanders Field, the poppies blow between the crosses row and row that mark our places. As the crosses mark their place, the poppies symbolize them, and everyone's pay their respects to our fallen soldiers. As life continues to move on, we don't realize how fortunate we are to live in a country where we don't have to be ordered around 24/7. We are lucky that we get to have as many things as we would like to have, and have as many rights as we have these things, and are definitely stuff that we look over and take for granted more times than not. There's not a thing in the world that people could do to ever pay tribute to our soldiers and veterans for that, what they have done for us. These people have done nothing but serve out of the kindness of their hearts, and for that, we students of the Chillicothe High School would like to say thank you to all of our soldiers and veterans that have fought for us to keep our rights and our freedom. Thank you for letting us live our American dream.
Many of our students and faculty have veterans in their families. We will take a moment now to honor those veterans. It is our usual custom to invite veterans to our building to be honored. Because of our COVID restrictions, we were not able to do that. Instead, here's an interview with several veterans discussing the new Veterans Building located on Washington Street by the new Children's Library.
Okay. We're here today with the Livingston County Veterans Association, and today we're going to be talking to them about their project that they have here and that they're building right here on Washington Street. So would you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Ed Allender, the president of Lacova. I was originally in the Army Reserve, and I joined the Navy during the Korean conflict, and I retired in 1974 after 25 years.
I'm Jim Somerville, on the board, U.S. Army from 1966 to 1969, Vietnam veteran.
I'm Matt Hopper, United States Marine Corps veteran from 1984 to 1988.
Larry Warren, United States Air Force, Vietnam veteran from 1968 till 1996, including guard time.
What's the history of the building? Why are you guys?
Well, so we started talking about 5 years ago, and we kept working and having ideas, and finally it developed into what we have here now. Of course, Larry can tell us more about it because he's been through a lot of the financial stuff and meeting with different board members and to get it all accomplished.
How has the building been funded this year?
Well, it's not just been this year. It's a 5-year campaign that started in 2017. We initially started talking to some local foundations who were willing to support us in doing this, and we're truly blessed in this community to have those foundations. But we soon learned that due to some restrictions within their organizations, they could not support the American Legion or the VFW directly because they were under the IRS code. They're in a different code than the foundations were allowed to support under their own bylaws. And for that and other reasons, we decided to get along to go along. That is, the VFW and the American Legion members. That opened the doors then for the local foundations to support us. And then we had some brochures printed, and we started contacting businesses and our own members and individuals, and started a 5-year financial campaign. We're in the 3rd year of that campaign, and we have right at half of our money raised and in cash, and we have about 85% of it in cash and pledges. Our goal at the present time is to raise $1.35 million, and we presently have pledged or on hand $1.1 million, and we're going to go for a construction loan to complete it. We just broke ground here about 2 weeks ago, and construction will begin at any day. In fact, you can see some of the subcontractors out here today doing some survey work.
I was involved with the original architecture. I used to be an industrial engineer and did a lot of layouts and flow planning and stuff like that at work, and so I always enjoy being to help out and being able to be a part of the organization to help do that. And one thing I might mention, Lacova is on Facebook, if anybody would like to take a look at it there and follow us. And we're real excited about what's coming along here for us, since both the VFW and the American Legion have been together and building this jointly for the community and to serve the community of Chillicothe.
So what services will be provided at this building? What's the timeline on the completion for it?
There's going to be various veteran services supported here. It'll also be community events can be held here. The facility can be rented. There's going to be a large meeting room. So, for instance, a high school graduation, a wedding party could utilize this facility. There will be a small private area for veterans to gather and talk. And the timeline on this should be within the next year. We hope to see completion. Groundbreaking's happened. You're going to start seeing some dirt work done. Hopefully the concrete's going to be done in the next few weeks. We'll just see how it progresses.
Full kitchen.
Yes, there will be a full kitchen.
One thing about this facility, we support Boy State, Girl State, Cadet Patrol, Legion Baseball. These are all activities that our young people of the community can be involved in. And then we also support the Americanism contest, which is an oratorical contest. We support with the VFW Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy, which again too are essays that kids write, and they can win money, they can win scholarships. So we just want to try to support our community in any way possible. That's what we are as veterans.
Thank you guys for your time. Thanks for coming out here on this chilly morning. Yeah.
Thank you, Trey. We will close today with the playing of Taps by Brandon Kaiser and Colby Newman. Thank you for joining us today, and God bless America.